So let's talk about how to save wet seeds. Wet seeds are anything that has pulp around it. So our perma tomatoes, the wild Everglades tomatoes, this is a great way to save these. Also, you could save squash, anything that you want to get this little bit of a film off. So what we're going to basically do is we're going to save the seeds and then soak them in water for about 3 days to ferment, and then we're going to pour off the pulp. So first step is to make sure that your perma tomatoes are really nice and ripe. If you find that you're at the end of the season and they're not ripening up, you can always pick them right when they just start turning color, put them on a windowsill until they get nice and pinkish orange, and then they're ready to harvest seeds. So to do so, I usually harvest in just a simple ball jar, some type of a glass jar or bowl. And to save you the mistake of getting squirted in the face, it's helpful to take off the end, and that'll open up a little divot that then you can squeeze the seeds easily into the cup. So I just take off the top and squeeze it into the cup. It's as simple as that. And you can save these bits. These are wonderful to throw into any type of a meal, a stir fry, a soup. It's almost like a little bit of tomato paste. So I like to save these after I save seed. And again, I'm saving these seeds mostly to be able to share with you all, but also if you want to just ensure that they're going to come back next year. These wild Everglades tomatoes are really successful reseeders on their own, so they're most likely, if you allowed some to drop, they will spring back to life when the temperatures are right for you in your zone. But this is always just a nice little bit of insurance to make sure that you're going to have seed for next season, if you'd like that, or if you'd like to share with family or friends. And the next step is we're just going to add a little bit of water. And so to the cup, we're going to add a bit of water. And now I just put a paper towel on top of the cup. I usually put a little rubber band around it just to keep everything nice and neat. And most importantly, I write down what are the seeds. It's amazing how quickly you can forget what you are saving. And so I'm going to leave this sit now just out on the cupboard for 2 to 3 days, and I just give it a little swirl once a day. That just helps everything to really make sure that it's mixing well. And what we're going to watch for is for the viable seeds to sink to the bottom and the pulp to go to the surface. It's been 3 days and it's time for us to separate our tomato seeds. So you can see now that the viable seeds have sunk to the bottom of the cup, and all the pulp in different layers are now on the top. So now it's really easy to separate off that pulp. And so all I do is I take a spoon and I'm just gonna separate all that top part, throw it in the compost bucket. And you can do this for any type of wet seed, anything that has a pulp. So think about squash, tomatoes, pumpkins, cucumbers. This process works great for all of those. And next up, I'm going to pour the liquid and the seeds through some type of a fine mesh. I use this screen, but you could easily use whatever you've got. You know, a fine mesh colander works great. Anything that is small enough that it'll catch the seeds, but let the water go through. And so we're just going to slowly pour the seeds. And don't worry about spreading them out as you pour. Just get them onto the screen, I found. Sometimes you need a little bit of water to get all the seeds out of the jar. And now what I found works really great is to, on the lowest possible setting, use a sprayer, and you can spray the seeds into a single layer. And so I'm just using this. You can use a little more force. Great, and so now you can see this single layer of seeds. And so now what we're going to do is just set these somewhere where it's safe for them to dry and let them dry for a couple of days until they're fully dry. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them off the screen and put them into some kind of a waterproof jar. So I usually store these then into some type of either an old vitamin bottle or a glass jar, and I put in a desiccant pack just to keep it nice and dry. And it's as simple as that to save your own seeds.